Hey guys, I'm the Mr. Mauer of the LBPCreateGuide, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a kind of switch between, move and controller, or even cross-controller type menu thing. So as you know, basically, when we've done a basic selection menu over here, as you can see now, and basically what happens is these controllinators, don't get confused by the wires yet, we'll go into that a bit later. It makes a lot of sense, don't worry. So the controlnator here is the same as all the others here. Now the settings are on this. It's going to disable the pop-it, so the player, doesn't mess around with the pop-it while the player is selecting which options we want. And then the trigger radius is 100. And the reason for that is because the checkpoint is just there, and we need, for when testing, if you didn't know, if you jump into a controlnator and then jump out, you have to leave the area and then go back in before you can actually jump back in. So it's for testing purposes. It's just big enough to get the checkpoint in. Automatically enter, yes. Players, all. And that's about it. Make it invisible. That's all we've changed, really. Now, what I have done, you don't have to do this, but I did it just to be a bit more secure when, seeing which player goes where. Now, since the new pack has come out, the cross controller, a new feature has come onto controllinators where you can force a certain player, which is the lead player, into a controllinator. So I put the lead player into the one on the left, which is the one that controls all the aspects of the menu to change which type they have. But you don't have to do this, but I would do it just to be safe. That's all that's different between them. Now, the one that's open is the first player's one. And all we have set up here, we'll start with the left. I made it a bit wide so we can explain it more. So we have the left and right of the first person's controller here, and the left and right of their analog stick. So the D-pad and analog stick they both go into an OR gate, and then they go all the way up into a selector. So when they press left and right on the D-pad or left and right using the analog stick, the selection will change. So there's two selections. One is for the controller and one is for the move. Now, you could add as many as you want. You could have, say you want Vita, someone want to use a Vita, you could do that as well, or use one move controller or two move controllers, that sort of thing. You can put as many as you like. Now, let's just follow the wire all the way down first. So as you can see, the first selector option connects all the way up to this controller here. It's just a sticker and it's on a piece of light up material, and the material lights up when that option is selected. And then the other option, which is here, and this is the option to use the PlayStation Move. Now, as you can see, this cable is a bit off where the other one is. Instead of going straight across, it goes along here, all the way behind here, all the way down here, and it's connected to each individual letter, and there it is there. Let me just go, there you can see. So it is connected to all of these letters. There's no move icon. I was going to use a move icon, but I couldn't find one, or I don't have one, which is quite annoying. But anywho, so that's what those wires there do. Now, if we follow them along again, you'll see that they're connected to AND gates. So each gets its own AND gate. So the input cable goes into the AND gate of each one, so they get their own, and X connects to both of them. So this means when they have the option they want to choose, and then press the X button, it will then throw a signal through this and set off a counter. So each have their own counter once again, which we're going to use as a basic one-shot switch. Now, this one-shot switch and this one-shot switch go into an OR gate, so either one of them can come on, doesn't matter which one. Then it sets off another one-shot switch, which means it ejects every single one of these. So a wire from here connects to every single throw out eject player point on all 4 controlnators here. And the reason for that is we throw them out and throw them in the one they want. So, for example, we go to then throw them into a move or a normal controlnator. Now, it's not obviously needed to throw them into a controlnator, from a controlnator to a controlnator, but it makes it more organized for me showing you. So, what the other wire does, so you see it comes out of the one-shot point here twice. So, the first one, which is the controller, the cable comes all the way down here. It's behind there, it's still there, don't worry. And it goes onto over here. And just to show you the other one, so this one-shot switch here carries on all the way over to here. Sorry, not that one. Sorry, this one here. This is the one to eject players. So this is the move when this activates when they're hovered over the move option and then press X, and then that option ejects the players, as we've said, and also comes to a point here. Now I can explain these both practically at the same time because they're so like each other. Now, just to avoid confusion, I close that. You don't need to worry about that. Okay, so what we have here is when the cable comes from the one-shot switch over there, it then goes into a NOT gate. Now, the reason for that is to invert the signal. We could have done it earlier on, but it's easier to see what I'm doing if I just put a NOT gate there. For me, anyway. So then the cable goes all the way up and into every eject point on 4 controlnators over here. Now, these controlnators have pretty much the same settings as the others. So, disable pop-it. If that's optional, obviously, if you want the players to be able to use the pop-it in the level, then disable that. 2000, that's the radius, so it's 2000. The whole radius is 2000, which is a lot bigger than the 100, and that means they can be anywhere in the level, and it'll throw them in. Automatically enter, definitely we need that one. Players, all, and invisible, blah blah blah. You know, just the main ones are automatically enter, the radius, and that's about it, really. And you can choose and pick with the others. Now, that's the same for all of these, except this one again. This one has the lead player. Now, this isn't required once as I've already said, so don't worry about it. You can leave it as all or lead. It just makes it more organized, I guess, if you put lead there. But LittleBigPlanet should automatically throw the first player into the first controlnator. I've noticed it does anyway. So moving over here, we have these Movinators, which are pretty much like controlnators, but they work with the PlayStation Move. So they also, the cable, the one-shot switch brings on to here, invert again as we have before, and into every eject point here. So I'm going to hide that. Can't get rid of the cable, can we? No. Okay, it's just annoying. Let me move him. Okay, so it's in every eject point here, and the settings for these Movinators are pretty much the same as what we need in the controlnators. So I've disabled the pop-it, and 2000 automatically enter, and hidden. So the only two you need, once again, 2000 and auto eject. You can have pop-it if you want, you know, you change the settings except these two. These are pretty much required. You can lower the radius if your point is closer. Mine is closer, but 2000 is usually a nice number. I put it to even numbers. 1000, maybe 100 would have done, but I like to go a bit over the top. Now, one thing I found was that the option from the players where you can set it to lead player, you can't do that with the Movinator, which I found quite annoying actually, because with the Movinator, with the Controlnator's option to have the lead player only in there, it gives you that, it gives you a bit more satisfaction. It's going to work with the lead player. Even though it should work, this lead player should always go in here, but there's going to be odd instances when people lag and stuff. So it would be best to have it so that it would have it. But I mean, the option's not there, and I guess they just couldn't bother to do it. But anyway, it's not a problem, not a huge problem anyway. Okay, so now, once these cables here are just basically to control what you're going to be using to control with the move controller or the remote control. Moving on to the final part, as you can see, there are two cables from here connecting to the box here, so that's part of this, and we have two cables from here connecting to the box here as well. Now, the reason for that is because it doesn't matter which which move, let's say they're in the move or normal remote, they can control what's to offer. So what we have is the left and right movement. So that cable goes into this OR gate, and it allows you to move left and right. And the left and right from the left analog stick on here goes up here into the OR gate here as well. So if you move the move controller right or use the analog stick to go right, it will basically do that. Doesn't matter which controller you're using. So if you wish to then use up and down is exactly the same but in a different OR gate. So along here into here, and up and down from here, along here, up into here, and allows up and down movement. So basically what we've done is enabled the player to be able to choose which controller they want to do. So we've enabled them, so we could have an option menu where they can choose which controller they want. So they could use the cross controller, they could use the remote control, they could use one of the move controllers, they could use both. So it's given them an option, and I believe that players love to have options because everyone doesn't like the same thing. You may think one control setup is fine, other people's may not. So it's nice to have give the player an option to be able to choose between which control system they want. So quick overview once again. Connecting the left and right into here, which lets you choose left or right on the D-pad or the analog stick. Into here, choose an option, hit X. It will then throw out the players, and it will choose. So depending on which one they press X on, it will activate one of them and allow them to, allow only one of them to work, and the other will become useless. You could destroy it if you wanted to after this point. So. And then they can use the move controller to control it, or use the remote depending on which option they chose. So this could be useful in multiple ways. You could have a level where you want players to have the option to choose, obviously. So, for example, I don't know, you could have a arcade game where it's like a fighter jet thing, and you press a certain button to shoot, and you can use a controller or use the move, and if you wanted to do it specifically per player, there's just let me know and I could do a tutorial on that if you're having trouble with that. But you can have it specifically per player. Like one player said, okay, I'm going to use move, I'm going to use remote, I'm going to use Vita, that sort of thing. So hopefully this helps people, and make sure to request tutorials for LittleBigPlanet 2, LittleBigPlanet Vita, and whatever LittleBigPlanet games you can think of, and I will get to making them soon. Also, new show coming next week, and it's Level of the Week. Now, what I'll have in the description of this video, you'll be able to find a link where you can submit your level. So it doesn't matter what game, LittleBigPlanet game it's on, just put the lbp.me link in there. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next week. Happy New Year. From yesterday thing. Yeah. Peace.